Have you ever looked at a piece of wood and seen more than just wood? Seen a story waiting to be told, a slice of time already passed, ready to be given new life? What if you could capture that story, that unique, tangible beauty, and build a living from it? Not just as a hobby, but as a true craft. A business that feeds your soul and your future. This isn't about simple plans. This is about the alchemy, the transformation of raw passion into lasting profit. Welcome to the workshop beyond the basics. Welcome to the art, the philosophy, and the smart business of turning wood into heirlooms and a vision into a livelihood. You know that smell? Sawdust and tung oil, it's not just a workshop scent. It's the perfume of potential. It's the air around a slab of walnut on your bench, glowing with a latent fire, its grain like a map of decades. Look at that. You're not just looking at wood. You're looking at a canvas, a story, and with the right vision, a thriving business. Because making money from wood clock art, it's never about just slapping numbers on a disc. It's about selling time made tangible, offering a slice of nature's patient rhythm to our impatient world. Let's talk about how you build that, how you turn that craft into a livelihood, tick by deliberate tick. It all starts with a single, crucial question. Before you sell your first clock, you have to answer. What is your time? Your style is your signature, it's your voice. Will you be the rustic alchemist, championing live-edge slabs where every crack and bark inclusion isn't a flaw, but part of an epic, natural narrative? Or maybe the modern geometrist, working with laser-cut precision to create sleek landscapes of layered wood, mountains, geodes, abstract patterns. Perhaps you're the salvage sentinel, giving new life to old barn wood, whiskey barrel staves, wood that hums with history. This choice, it dictates everything. Your tools, your process, and ultimately, the customer who finds their story in yours. Behind all that beauty, there's a heartbeat. The quiet, essential study of the mechanics, the clock movement. This is where practicality meets profit. You'll get to know quartz mechanisms, the standard tick, the silent sweep hand for that smooth glide, the high-torque motor for driving heavy hands through thick wood. Sourcing these reliably, in bulk from good suppliers, that's your first real business decision. Because a failed movement means a disappointed customer and a costly return. Your entire reputation. It ticks on this tiny, hidden motor. With your style defined, your workshop transforms. It becomes a stage, and the process is a ritual where every step layers on value. It begins with the canvas itself. For the live-edge worker, that means stabilizing, sanding through grits until the wood feels like silk under your fingers, then sealing it with oils that make the grains sing. For the precision carpenter, it's the meticulous joinery, the laser-cut lines, the scroll-sawed complexity. Each piece has to be flawless. Because in the high-wattage world of online photos, every tiny scratch looks like a canyon. Then how do you mark the hours? That's your typographic statement, the poetry of the numerals. Will you burn them in with a pyrography pen for a rustic, permanent tattoo, inlay contrasting wood or metal, or apply sleek, modern numbers? Maybe you embrace pure minimalism, just simple dashes or even no numbers at all, creating a sculpture that just incidentally tells time. Some of the most sought-after pieces live in that space. And the hands, they're the clock's personality. Long, spindly hands whisper mid-century modern. Broad, black hands shout industrial. Handcrafted wooden hands, shaped and finished to match the face perfectly, that speaks of a total, cohesive vision. It's a detail that amateurs overlook, but true connoisseurs feel in their bones. Finally, the last incantation, the finish. This is the protective shield and the final enhancer. A hand-rubbed oil brings a warmth and depth you can feel. A satin lacquer offers a durable, modern shell. And for those stunning river-style epoxy clocks, this step is that dazzling, glass-like encapsulation. The finish quietly says, I am a cared-for object. I am an heirloom. But here's the truth. A masterpiece unseen is like a tree falling in an empty forest. You have to build the gallery. You have to tell your story to the world. Start with your digital storefront, your Etsy, your website. Here, your product photos are everything. Shoot in beautiful, natural light. Show the clock living in a space, on a rustic mantle, a bright studio wall, a cozy reading nook. Get those close-ups, the grain, the joinery, the texture. And your description, it can't just list dimensions. It has to tell the story. This face was once part of a 100-year-old Amish barn, weathered by generations. The oak hands point to hours marked with hand-forged steel. You're not selling a timepiece. You're selling a fragment of a story. Then feel the local pulse. Craft fairs and galleries. This is where money is exchanged for a real experience. People can touch the wood, feel its weight, listen for the silent sweep of the second hand. Your booth becomes a mini sanctuary. Have a range, smaller, affordable pieces for that impulse buy, and stunning centerpiece clocks that draw people in with their presence. Partnering with a local boutique or gallery on consignment, that's marketing and sales, woven into one beautiful thread. And then there's the commissioned symphony. This is where passion meets premium profit. A client comes to you with a concept. I want a clock from the floorboards of my grandmother's farmhouse. Suddenly, you're not just a crafter. You're a memory engineer. This commands higher prices, fosters incredible loyalty, and often leads to your most creative, portfolio-worthy work ever. Now passion fuels the craft, but let's be honest, math fuels the business. This is the ledger, the mathematics of sustainability. Forget the old idea of just adding a markup. Your price has a sacred formula. It is not just cost of materials plus a little extra. It's the cost of materials plus a fair hourly wage for your skilled labor plus your overhead, and then you multiply that. You double it or more. That's how you build a real, sustainable business. So a clock that takes 4 hours to make with $40 in wood and a $10 movement isn't an $80 clock. It's a $350 clock. And a unique live-edge slab or a complex inlay. That can command $500, $800 or more. Think of your offerings as an ecosystem. Have an entry point, simple, smaller clocks that are accessible. Have your core range, your signature bread and butter designs that are your main revenue stream. And have your crown jewels, those large, commissioned, breathtakingly complex pieces. They define the height of your brand and pull everything else up with them. Through it all, remember your most important tools won't be found on the rack. They're patience and storytelling. The market for handmade goods isn't a gold rush. It's a slow, steady cultivation. You'll face slow seasons, difficult clients, the occasional flawed piece that teaches you a hard lesson. Your brand is the cumulative story of your integrity, your consistency, the unique way you see time in wood. It all begins in the quiet. A single board, an idea. You sand, you shape, you finish. You install the movement, a tiny technological heart in an organic body. You set the hands. And in that moment, the inert object comes to life. It begins to measure something far more valuable than hours and minutes. It measures your skill, your vision, your dedication to making something both beautiful and essential. You are not just making clocks. You are crafting heirlooms, anchoring moments in a physical form. And you are building a life one resonant tick at a time. The true craft, the real magic, isn't just in the wood. It's in the alchemy. That transformative process that takes a raw, passionate idea and turns it into sustainable profit. Let's go deeper into the workshop and the mindset that separates the hobbyist from the professional artisan. Let's talk about the philosophy, the advanced techniques, and the smart systems that build not just clocks, but a legacy. First, you have to shift your thinking. Before you ever price a piece, adopt the artisan's mindset. You are not merely building a thing that tells time. Anyone's phone can do that. You are a storyteller of materiality and temporality. Every piece of wood on your bench holds a history. A growth ring marks a drought from 50 years ago. A knot is the ghost of a lost branch. A subtle color shift whispers of minerals deep in the soil. Your clock captures that ancient, geological story and lays over it the human story of measured hours and minutes. That beautiful juxtaposition is your true offering against a sterile, mass-produced world. So what is your client really buying? They're buying a tactile anchor in a digital swirl, a conversation piece brimming with a story they can tell, a quiet statement of their values, sustainability, craftsmanship, local art. They are investing in an emotional heirloom, an object with perceived permanence. Internalize this. Let it guide every design choice, every photograph you take, every word of every description you write. Once you've mastered the basic slab, your world expands. Your palette grows. This is where you start to command premium prices. Take the epoxy river. This is more than a trend, it's pure theater. The organic, static warmth of wood contrasted with the captured, flowing river of glossy, colored resin. The skill is in the preparation, the flawless sealing to prevent leaks, the calculated mixing to avoid bubbles, the patient, multi-stage pour. A successful river clock is a jewel. It plays with depth and light in a way that captivates the modern, luxury eye. Then there's working with the grain itself as your paint. Intarsia and segmentation. Cutting, shaping, and fitting together contrasting woods, walnut for shadow, maple for light, purple heart for a shock of accent, to create images within the clock face. A soaring eagle. A geometric sunburst. This is woodworking as painting. The value is in the immense patience, precision, and artistic vision. These are true gallery pieces. And don't be afraid to let technology be your collaborator. A CNC router can carve breathtaking, impossible by hand 3D topography. A mountain range where the peaks cast literal physical shadows. A laser can etch photorealistic detail or intricate patterns with flawless accuracy. Use these tools to achieve staggering complexity, and then imbue the piece with your human touch in the sanding, the oiling, the assembly. This hybrid approach is how you scale your artistry. For the true purist, the horology enthusiast, venture into mechanical marvels. Skeleton clocks, where wooden gears mesh and turn, revealing the beating heart. Or equation of time clocks, tracking the fascinating dance between solar and clock time. This is a deep, technical niche that attracts collectors, the kind who understand and will invest in functional wooden sculpture. Here's the honest truth. The romance is in the making, but the sustainability, that's in the systems, the unseen business. Think of your production like a ladder. You might start as the one-off artisan, every piece unique from blank to finish. It's maximally satisfying, but your income is capped by the hours in your day. To grow, you become a small batch curator. You design a collection, say, the Appalachian series. You mill 10 slabs at once. You cut 50 sets of hands on the laser. You finish a week's worth of faces in one session. You assemble to order. This isn't less art. It's smart efficiency that boosts your margin dramatically. From there, you can evolve into the designer maker, creating the designs and overseeing production for your popular models, freeing your hands and mind for new creations, marketing, and those precious custom commissions. Your marketing should work like a funnel, but let's call it the funnel of sawdust. At the top, for awareness, it's all visual allure. Beautiful, atmospheric Instagram and Pinterest. Satisfying short TikToks and reels that show the magic, the planer revealing hidden grain, the epoxy pour, the oil soak. No hard sell, just beauty. In the middle, for consideration, you build trust as the expert. Your website, blog, or YouTube channel. Posts like, how we salvage century-old barn wood, or the philosophy behind our numbers. You educate, you connect. At the bottom, for conversion, is your flawless execution. Your elegant online store, clear, confident pricing, and an impeccable unboxing experience, branded packaging, a care card, a handwritten note telling that specific clock story. This spalted maple came from a Vermont windfall, spring of 2023. That's the magic touch. And diversify. Don't just rely on one stream. Build a whole revenue ecosystem. Sell wholesale to boutiques, less per clock but consistent volume. Create DIY kits for the hobbyist market, selling your design and expertise without your assembly time. Sell digital plans, PDFs of your designs, pure profit, create once, sell infinitely. Or teach. Host workshops. Your product becomes your knowledge. Now the moment of truth. A client loves a piece but hesitates at the price. Your job isn't to defend, it's to educate, to translate value. Have your narrative ready. Something like, I understand this is an investment. Let me help you see where that value lives. This walnut slab is from a sustainable urban forester, air-dried for 3 years. That's $180 in material history alone. The mechanism is a high-torque, silent sweep movement from Germany, rated for 20 years, $45. The hands are hand-cut from solid brass. Then, there are about 12 hours of active work. Milling, stabilizing, sanding through 8 grits, designing the layout, hand finishing with a custom oil blend and assembly. At a modest craft wage, that's another $400. Finally, the packaging, my business overhead, the fees to even be here talking to you. At $750, this piece ensures I can continue this work with the integrity and care and you deserve. Play the long game. Your business, like the wood you work with, must season and adapt. Document everything. Build a portfolio with the stories, that's your lore, your credibility. Collaborate. Partner with a local metalworker for stands, a glassblower for covers. Cross-pollination expands your reach. Let your style evolve naturally. Start with rustic live edge, then incorporate inlays, then experiment with epoxy, then move toward pure sculpture. Your collectors will journey with you. And solve specific problems. Can you design a stunning statement piece for a corporate lobby? A humidity-resistant clock for a spa? A tactile, high-contrast clock for the visually impaired? Find a niche within the niche, and you become indispensable. In the end, remember, the money is a byproduct, a necessary fuel. The true reward is in the rhythm you establish. The whisper of the plane, the dance of the chisel, the meditation of sanding. You take a material that grew at nature's patient pace and shape it into an object that marks our human pace. The sound of your success won't be a cash register's chime. It will be the soft, persistent tick-tock emanating from 100 homes. A quiet symphony of your making, measuring not just hours, but a life well-crafted. Now go to your bench. The next piece awaits. The path from a slab on your bench to a sustainable business is a journey. It's built one choice, one technique, one story at a time. I've put a ton of detailed resources, links to suppliers, tool recommendations, and deeper guides in the description below. Everything you need to take your next step is down there. If this deep dive sparked something for you, if you're ready to move from making clocks to building a craft, then consider subscribing. We go beyond the surface here, with weekly videos dedicated to the art, the business, and the mindset of the modern maker. Next week, we're deconstructing the 5 biggest pricing mistakes makers make and how to fix them. You don't want to miss it. But for now, your most important tool isn't a chisel or a saw. It's your own creativity. So go on, head to your bench, dream up that next piece. We'll see you next time.